Well, hello, everyone. Thanks for coming today. Appreciate you hanging out. We decided we wanted to talk about what we thought were the top 5 things that people need to know about when they're working from home. Since at Jetta, we've been doing that for almost 5 years. Thought it would be information worth talking about and sharing. So what do you guys think are the most important things about working from home?
Well, when I first started working from home, I found that the best way to start your day is to start it the way you always did when you were going to your place of work. So you want to replicate your routine, starting with the time that your alarm goes off. So you get up at the same time you always did. You have breakfast same way, same time you always did, whether it's coffee or whatever your routine is. You want to replicate it as much as possible. And that includes dressing professionally, because obviously it's very easy to just keep your pajamas on and not go out, but I don't recommend that. So when you are typically ready to go out to take your commute to work, I found it very helpful to leave the house at that time and just walk around the neighborhood, walk around the block, I found that it got me in the right frame of mind to go to work. So when I came back home, I was ready to go to work, and I typically scheduled my day and structured it so in the same routine that I always did. So I found that kept me productive and focused throughout the day. So yeah.
Cool. Well,
I think that's great, Jim, and I would add to that, it's also about preparing yourself and preparing your workspace and preparing your technology and making sure that it's ready to go. Day to day, if you're just working away, that might not seem like that big of a deal. You'll just deal with it as it comes. But if you're actually arranging to have a meeting, video conference, or phone conference, you want to make sure that your technology is working, right? Like, you want to make sure that your audio is working, your video is working, your Wi-Fi, you're not going to freeze and have one of those, like, I'm not even going to give you an example, but freeze and have a, crazy looking face on the screen. And then also making sure that you don't have children or pets running around behind you. I just muted my screen, my Zoom just a moment ago because a motorbike went by. So just making sure that you know how to do those things in a flash if that should happen.
Cool. What else?
So I'll build from what Sherry just said, and I'm new to the work from home. I'm used to working in an office environment where there were lots of interruptions and lots of people coming by, and so that was the environment I was most familiar with. And what happened is I came into my office, and it was head down and focused, and come up for air about two in the afternoon, and only when my stomach started growling at me it was time to have some lunch, or you needed a bio break. And so really I found I had to be intentional around scheduling breaks so that I would stand up and move around and get some opportunity to rebuild some energy and some ability to refocus and maintain my productivity levels. So that meant that creation of a break creates that time to do that. I think the other piece of that I'm learning to do is also set some boundaries around start and stop times. And I'm going to build from what Jim said earlier, in that I love the idea that at the end of my day, I actually get up and leave and walk, even if it's out the door and back in through the garage, to re-enter a different phase of my life and focus on something separate from work and create that boundary there.
Cool.
I love the idea, Cheryl. Sorry, just because it's something that I know I struggle with, and I have to be really intentional about that. So I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I think that's really important, because when we work from home, those lines of home and work can really bleed into each other. I'm fortunate enough that I have a separate room that I can use for an office, but if I didn't, I think I would need to set up kind of a separate work area in the house. That this is where I work, and this is where I live, and at the end of the day to pack up the work stuff, so it's not beckoning to me to come back and do more, because I think that's the temptation, or the thing that can happen when we work from home. It's always there calling us. And even, I know for me, even if I see work stuff in the evening or on the weekend, it can cause me stress thinking I should be in there doing it. So I have to pack it up, put it away so it doesn't distract me. I think some other distractions, when we're working during the day, like Sherry was saying a minute ago, muting because a motorcycle went by. It always seems I have a conference call when they're picking up the dumpsters, and my condo is right next to the parkade. So yeah, being able to mute out those distractions for yourself and for other people. Locking up your cats when you're on a video call. My cats don't appreciate that, but I have to do that sometimes, so they're not distracting me or others. And yeah, I think just building, that environment for ourselves where we can focus on work when we need to focus it, and be at home when we're at home.
Awesome. One of the things that was really important to me when we started working from home was the idea of communication, and how would we keep up the communication like we did when we were in an office. And so depending on your technology, I think you have to work with what you have and be creative. And one of the things that we did right away is we started having, Monday morning Scrum meetings that were half an hour. And recently, with all the things that are going on, we now have one at 9 a.m. every day. We make sure that we do it by video. We committed to, whenever we phone each other, we use video to do it, so that we're looking at each other, we're looking face to face. I think it's important that we not wait for a leader to decide or come up with ideas on how to do this, because we could easily get isolated at home waiting for someone. And I think we all need to lead the charge. We all need to come up with creative ways to make sure we stay connected. Communication within organizations is difficult enough. Doing it when everyone's working from home can even be more complicated. So be creative. Last night we hosted a virtual St. Patrick's Day party. We had a lot of laughs. It was great to just for a moment in time forget all the craziness that's going on and just laugh together. Cheryl brought her chips and homemade salsa. Sadly, she couldn't share them with us. That was the only downside. But it's really about figuring out, how do we keep communication alive, and each one of us has a responsibility to do so. So, this isn't an exhaustive list of all the things that are important. There's just some of the things that we've learned, and we just hope that everyone right now that's working from home makes it as successful as it can be. And who knows, down the road, maybe there'll be more of it going on once all of this stuff clears away. Anything anyone else wants to say? Anything else to add? Anything else pop in while we were talking? One thing I thought of it when I looked at Sherry and she smiled was, you gotta have fun. We had so much fun in the office, and so we try to do the same thing, and we share jokes back and forth that work for us. And so have fun, I would say.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So thanks all.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you later.